Tennessee game is this Saturday, and it may be a matchup of the two best quarterbacks in the SEC.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Say Radio Network's Luke Robinson, that's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein is unavailable today, so it'll be me flying solo. So that's why I thought, hey, I'd go live and give you guys a chance to give me some comments, and we can discuss whatever you want to talk about. This episode is brought to you by Mazda, and I want to thank you everydayers for being here every day, and you newbies for being here today. Thanks everybody for making this your first listen every single day. You guys are the best. So please do get your comments in. Please do subscribe. We would appreciate it. Jimmy will be back tomorrow, so no sweat, but sometimes life just throws you a curveball. Got a lot to talk about. Want to talk some Ty Simpson. Versus Joey Aguilar. Want to talk about some of the injuries and what Kalen DeBoer had to say about that, about some of the guys that were out this previous week or the guys that got concussed this previous week. Some kickoff times have been announced. And also in basketball, 6'7", some Gurndog just said that. Okay, I like it. So the AP basketball poll is out, and also the predictions for Alabama and where they'll finish in the SEC are out. So as Byron Harris says, yes, this is a late show today. I had to fly into Columbus, Ohio, and got some work to do here tomorrow. And so, yes, this is a late show today. So sorry about that, but we're trying to make do. So we want to start discussing this Tennessee game just for a second. We can all go back to Missouri anytime you guys want to. I think we've had a couple of podcasts on that, so I think it's time to go onward, upward, and all those things. This Tennessee game coming up, I think for all the talk of Auburn's wide receiver room in the preseason, and their wide receivers are very good, but your wide receivers is only as good as your quarterback. I think Alabama and Tennessee may have the best two receiver rooms in the SEC and maybe two of the top five in the country. And so this is going to be just an interesting game. And then on top of that, you look at some of the guys that Tennessee's got. They got frisbee catching dogs. Now, we've got some dogs too. Don't get me wrong. Ours are built a little bit differently, and I think the style's a little bit different. But the one thing that intrigues me so much about this game is who would have had at the beginning of the season that it may be a battle of the best two quarterbacks in the league. Ty Simpson may be the best quarterback in the country even. So Joey Aguilar, who was at UCLA, and before that, I can't remember where he was, but he transferred into UCLA, and then he in the trade with Tennessee for Nico, they get Joey Aguilar to do the Vols, and he has come out and just been slinging it all over the yard. Every time I watch them play, it seems like he's got a 75-yard touchdown or two. He's been impressive. But by the same token, Ty Simpson's made better throws. He's probably been the better quarterback. I don't think there's much doubt about that. But these two guys are very eerily similar. And I'll tell you, I looked up the stats. Both have played 6 games. Joey Aguilar has attempted 182 passes. Ty Simpson, 189. Joey Aguilar has only completed 118, Ty Simpson 134. So clearly Ty Simpson's percentage is better at 71 versus 65. Yardage-wise, this stood out to me. Joey Aguilar has thrown for 1,680 yards. Ty Simpson, 1,678 yards. So he's 2 yards behind him. Average per attempt, about the same, right at 9 for each of them. Simpson's got more touchdowns at 16, which I'm a little surprised by. But Aguilar's got 14. But Simpson only has 1 interception, and Aguilar has 5. I think that's going to be one of the keys to this Tennessee game is our defensive backs making some plays on the ball and getting a pick or two. That's one thing about Dejon Lee that Kane Womack spoke today, and so did Kalen DeBoer, and I think he may be speaking right this very minute. But he made the comment that, hey, somebody brought up the Damani Jackson versus Dejon Lee thing, and Womack made the comment, hey, look, we play based on how well you do in practice. And it's very clear that he's sending a message that, hey, Dejon Lee's coming. He's coming. Look out. And Damani Jackson needs to pick it up a little bit. Jimmy and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Go back and check it out. And Damani Jackson's just had a couple of bad moments. It's time for him to make something happen, and he's going to get an opportunity. We're going to need all hands on deck in the secondary against this Tennessee team. They have got some frisbee catching dogs, I'm telling you. So we need Damani Jackson at full strength, both physically, mentally, and then I guess you want to add in emotionally. I don't want to see any more videos that show Damani Jackson missing this or missing that, and because I keep trying to justify, like the last play, the last video that was out there where Norfleet caught the touchdown on the first drive for Missouri, and it looked like Damani Jackson sort of bailed out on hitting him. He made a business decision. I have chosen not to believe that to be true. I have faith in Damani Jackson. I want that to be the way it is. But when you factor it in with some of the bad angles he took against Georgia when their running backs got some big runs, it just starts to add up and look bad. So I'm really hoping that Damani Jackson puts on a show and has a great game this Saturday, and he's going to get ample opportunities because Joey Aguilar is going to throw it deep, and he's going to have to be on his game. And one other thing that's interesting about that, I think we blitzed 4 times against Missouri, and we didn't get home on any of them. We technically got home on one of them with Keon Sabb, but he went for the strip sack versus just taking the sack, and that hurt us. Bama OG 1989 said, where's Jimmy Roll Tide? Jimmy will be back tomorrow. I talked to him a little bit earlier, and we were trying to make today work where we could pair up and get this done, and he's not available. So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and I'll put a show out and go live, and that way people can comment and we can talk a little bit more, and I can hear what you folks want to say. So, again, going back to the blitzing thing, I don't know that blitzing is something we're super at, and that's going to be an issue. So the defensive backs really going to have to be on their game Saturday because Tennessee's going to sling it. And like I said, they've got some incredible wide receivers. When we come back, I want to speak a little bit about Ty Simpson, some of the accolades he's getting here just today and where he's headed, because this guy's looking more and more like a first-round draft pick. And I'm seeing all over Twitter that these draft analysts are saying, I don't know what y'all are looking at with Arch Manning and whoever else. Ty Simpson's the best quarterback in the country. Do want to tell everybody about Mazda, though. We appreciate Mazda being a sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Mazda, moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward is, well, I'll go back to Bray Hubbard making that interception. That was absolutely huge. It was a fantastic play. He was able to scoop it up. I was worried he didn't catch it at first, but it looks like he did. And Alabama was able to go on and defeat the Missouri Tigers, and Bray Hubbard was a big part of that. As I said yesterday on the podcast, if Bray Hubbard does screw up now, ever since Florida State game, if he does screw up, it seems like he comes back later and makes a play that makes up for it and then some. So Bray Hubbard doing big things for Alabama still. So when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Jimmy Stein guarantee. That's what I love about Jimmy. Even when he's not here, he's making guarantees. So Ty Simpson, SEC Player of the Week. It's weird because you don't see a lot of SEC Player of the Week quarterbacks with only 200 yards passing. As Jimmy and I we agreed, it wasn't even close to his best game. In fact, I know he had some great throws. You could almost say it was, by his standards right now, a little pedestrian. but he had some throws in there that were NFL throws. There's no doubt. The one to Brooks has been talked about ad nauseum. He also made some good decisions on scrambling. Now he missed that 1 2nd and 4 play. I talk about that on these last 2 podcasts, that 1 2nd and 4 play. I think that changed the momentum of the game. I think if he had hit just Jam Miller and gotten that first down, it was late in the second half. I think Alabama goes down and scores, makes it a 3-score game. And then all of a sudden the whole game dynamic is different. But he got a little greedy there, and that's okay. I like that we win a game on the road against a top 15 team with a 15-game home winning streak where a lot of people picked us to lose. We don't have our A game, and there's a lot to nitpick, and still your quarterback is SEC Player of the Week. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. He is also now on threes leader for the Heisman. Now, I'm right there with him. The only thing is, this is the strangest year because, yes, while I'd put Ty Simpson at the top of the list too, it feels like the world is waiting on somebody to really take the reins. Ty may have an opportunity this next weekend. Tennessee defensively is not fantastic. They can get to the quarterback, but they're not fantastic. And they gave up 44 points to Georgia. And Georgia offensively, not fantastic. So I think Ty's going to have an opportunity. Jalen Hill should be back. We'll talk about that. Ryan Williams should be back. Seems like at full speed, which that's going to be huge. And I don't know about Derek Meadows, but again, though he played against Missouri a good bit or was planning to, it wasn't as if he's been super counted on this year. I would love to see him out there, but I don't think he's been counted on as much. So if he is missing this game, I don't think that's going to be a monstrous factor. But Todd being number 1 in the Heisman voting, again, I would put him there too, but there's a lot of football to be played. And usually by this time of the year, you feel like you have an idea of who the top, 2, 3, if not just singular guy is like the top of the list. I think there's, the quarterback out at USC is playing pretty well. I guess you could probably even give somebody like Jeremiah Love some love from Notre Dame. There's a lot of people out there. John Mateer, he's probably out now, but the quarterback at Indiana, a lot of these guys, they've got an opportunity to make some more hay, and especially when you think about this. How about this statistic? Kudos to the Bear, Chris Felica at ESPN for tweeting this out, that remaining teams left on the schedule. Bama is facing 6 ranked teams, or at least will have played 6 ranked teams. Ohio State, IU, and Oregon, 4 combined. That's ridiculous. And so when people have a hissy fit that Alabama's going to play Eastern Illinois in late November right before the Auburn game, they need to be reminded of this. That, again, if you want to say the rankings are biased towards the SEC or whatever, fine. But you can't excuse this. Now, I will eat some crow and say, Indiana, you earned my respect. I've been waiting on you to do something like that, to beat a team on the road, and you did earn my respect. There's no doubt about it. And you got a good ball club, and Kurt Cignetti is a thing, and he's going to make $1 gazillion because Penn State's looking for a coach. Florida State may be looking for a coach. Auburn may be looking for a coach. Arkansas is looking for a coach. I mean, there are a lot of teams out there. Maybe UCLA. I don't think you'd go there. But there's going to be a lot of people out there that they're going to make Kirk Cignetti and his agent a whole lot of money. One other thing about the kickoff times for South Carolina, that game has been announced for the 2:30 Central Time, God's time. And that's fine. I was hoping it wouldn't be a night game because South Carolina can get rowdy. I've been there a couple of times, and they put on a show. Their crowd shows up, even if they're not doing well. It may be a little different now because South Carolina has tasted success, and now they seem to be a little more disappointed when they don't do well. In the past, South Carolina just showed up because even though the team was going over, because they were like, hey, it's fun. Let's just go do it and have fun, win, lose, draw, who cares? Now I think they've got a lot more feeling about, hey, we need to win these games. I mean, we've got Lenore Sellers, we got some dudes. We have Jadavian Clowney in the past. We've got some, we've got some guys out there. So I didn't want it to be a night game and have them all rowdy and frothed up. And now it's going to be a 2:30 game. I'm a little shocked that they didn't choose Ole Miss and Oklahoma for that particular slot. But whatever, I'll take it. 2:30 is much better than 11 o'clock. I don't care, home or away. A couple of comments. Somebody mentioned in here that they believe Auburn will beat Missouri this weekend. I'll tell you, Auburn is the betting favorite. I don't agree with that right now. I think Auburn there are rumors out there that Damari Alston is leaving the team. It has not been confirmed, but I've seen it a lot of places. Wouldn't shock me if he did leave the team because he has an opportunity to redshirt and maybe go somewhere else. Your coach is on his, at least got 1 foot out the door, not voluntarily. And you're not getting quite as many carries. Jeremiah Cox probably even playing a little better. So it makes sense to me if he were to take off. But I just think Missouri's a good squad. I was impressed with the team. I was not impressed with their atmosphere. That is, I've said that pretty famously. I was very impressed with the team. The team's a good team. Prbula made some mistakes, but give Alabama some credit for that too. So I think Missouri goes in there with Ahmad Hardy. And I mean, this has got to be somewhat of a downtrodden Auburn squad, right? I mean, they lose the game against Georgia where they had an opportunity to go up 17-0. Whether you think it's a fumble, where you think they got screwed, whether all that stuff, irrelevant. Now you got to go forward, and you got a coach who looked completely defeated in that halftime speech. And it was just a bad look all the way around. And so I feel like Missouri's going to go in there and take care of business. I think they certainly got the better quarterback. I think that Alubade, that wide receiver, he's a dude. Ahmad Hardy, if Missouri will just feed Ahmad Hardy, I think they win that game. I don't put it in Prbula or I've heard it all the time. Don't put it in that kid's hands. So somebody else says Cam Coleman will be in the transfer portal at the end of this season. Look, I don't know if that's true or not. I think there's a lot that could be a lot of things going on down there. You just don't know. And I'm not going to throw any stones or anything like that because, you never know what team is going to be next to have to deal with all this type of stuff. Now that all these transfer portals are open, all the NIL deals are open, all the agents are backdoor talking to everybody. So I'm not going to throw stones on that. But I do want to tell you guys a couple other things here. First of all, we're going to talk about some basketball because Alabama will be playing on Thursday, and the AP poll came out today and pretty excited about it. I want to tell you guys now about FanDuel. FanDuel is absolutely awesome. I've always loved it. It's a ton of fun to play. You need to go get you some. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get 300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it makes every game a lot more fun. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started, and thank me later when you have a ton of fun playing FanDuel at FanDuel.com. I want to tell you about Monarch Money too. Monarch Money is fantastic. I've absolutely loved this app. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface. On your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives, and so that means you. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege, just all one word, at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. And as always, that is a Jimmy Stein guarantee. So the basketball AP poll is out. And, before I get into that, I meant to talk about the injuries, didn't I? And I'm going to do that. First of all, I thought Kane Womack said something interesting. He said Michael Carroll's getting very close to being the full-time starter. I know a lot of you people are very, very, very happy about that. I am also one of you people when I say you people. So I think that's a good thing. Then some of the other injury news out there. Jalen Mbakwe had some sort of a hand-wrist injury, but it looks like he's back out there. Kalen DeBoer even made mention he's in good spirits and everything seems to be fine. Jalen Hill was a late addition to the out of the injury report for last week, and everybody sort of caught everybody a little off guard. Turns out he was just very sick. He wasn't hurt. He was just very sick. And Kalen DeBoer said he should be back. Caden Jones, this is a guy that I really like. I mean, I think he's got a bright future. Ankle injury, had some surgery. He's going to be down for a while. No specifics on a while. My guess is probably the rest of the year. And then when it comes to the two guys in concussion protocol, that'll be Derek Meadows and that'll be Jam Miller. In hindsight, Jam Miller's injury and the hit he took may have been, I don't know what may have been, it was worse than Derek Meadows. Derek Meadows looked worse, at least to me in the stands. I remember thinking he might be dead. I was worried to death he was dead. That's how hard I thought he got hit. And he did get hit hard, and it was awful, and he was down for a long time. But now that I've seen the replay of the hit on Jam Miller, which, by the way, again, I would have called targeting. I don't understand why it wasn't called targeting. I just don't get targeting. I wish they just – I don't know how to fix this, but they keep screwing up targeting, and nobody knows what it is. When you go back and look at that, it's very fortunate that Jam Miller got out of bounds and was hit out of bounds, because soon as the helmet-to-helmet contact was made, Jam Miller was out like a light, and he fumbled immediately. Now, you can, again, see all this. So it's fortunate for Alabama, number one, that he's going to end up being okay. But number two, that the fumble, he was close enough to the out-of-bounds line where the ball went out of bounds. So I just, again, I don't understand targeting. Should have been targeting to me. Whatever. I'm going to talk some basketball now. First of all, there is Ballin and Boutwell on Thursday night. Alabama will be taking on Florida State. It's both the men's and the women's game. The women will tip off first at, like 5:30, somewhere in there. And then the men are going to be just after that. So should be a fun contest. Florida State's got a brand new coach. Alabama, of course, got their transfer in from Florida State this year. So that's a little bit interesting. It's going to be fun just to see what this team is going to bring to the table. We've seen a lot of highlights from practice. Alabama does a great job of putting out video highlights from practice. And you've been encouraged by a lot of dudes. Some of these true freshmen, we're hoping they set the world on fire. Hopefully Latrell Wrightsell is out there going full bore. Hopefully Houston Mallett is able to uncork some three-pointers, because I've heard nothing but fantastic things about his stroke. So, looking forward to that. I'm going to try and make that game. If you are there, I would love to see you. So please come up and speak to me if I am able to make it. Now, I wanted to bring this up. The AP poll is out for basketball. And again, Nate Oates, happy birthday, Nate Oates. It's his birthday today. Nate Oates is just a psychopath when it comes to scheduling. Purdue is number one. Of course, Alabama is going to play them early in the season in Tuscaloosa. That's going to be pretty incredible. Florida is number three. Of course, Alabama plays them on a Sunday this year on ABC at noon in Gainesville. St. John's is number five. Alabama will play them in Madison Square Garden. I think it's maybe the second game of the year. It's the same day as Alabama LSU football. I was hoping to go. I'm not going to be able to make it, but still huge matchup. Alabama plays Kentucky, of course. They are number 9. Alabama also plays Arizona in Birmingham, and that is number 13, Arizona Wildcats, so another big game. Number 14 is Arkansas, and Alabama plays them, of course. 15 is Alabama. I think that's a very fair ranking, and here's why. I think I look at it like, where do I project them towards the end of the year, and I feel like this is about right. All those teams I just mentioned are going to be very tough outs for Alabama. But so if you can just split those, that's fantastic. But what it means is Alabama is going to have some, marks in their loss column. This is not going to be like a 2-loss team. I mean, they're going to end up with probably 8 or 9 losses. The league's very tough, and Alabama's schedule is incredible. So I feel like 15 is about where Alabama should end up at the end of everything said and done. Number 17 is Illinois. Alabama plays them, of course. Number 18 is Tennessee. Of course, Alabama plays them, and Auburn at number 20, and Gonzaga at number 21. I can't believe we don't play Creighton this year, but we don't, and they are ranked. But that is a lot of ranked teams for Alabama, and goodness gracious, I can't wait for this season. I really can't. It's going to be a ton of fun. I hope you guys go to the Ballin' at Boutwell thing, because this team deserves all the accolades and all the love. Nate Oates is doing incredible things with this program. The recruiting is going gangbusters. I still feel like Alabama is the leader for Caleb Holt. Y'all know how much I love that kid. So very, very excited. One other injury note I wanted to bring up. It seems like Ryan Williams is going to be fine this game. He only played about 20 snaps against Missouri, had 0 catches. I've had the host of Locked On Missouri, John Miller, who does a fantastic job. He was like, I can't believe he didn't get the ball. Turns out he had a bit of an injury, and he should be fine for Tennessee. And again, Alabama's going to need all hands on deck. 4th ranked team in a row for Alabama. If they're able to pull this off, that's just an incredible feat. And then to go to South Carolina before you get a rest, if the wheels fall off of LSU, which they're an underdog to Vandy coming up this weekend, if Oklahoma, if John Mateer can't get right, all of a sudden you love the back end of Alabama's schedule. Yeah, going to Auburn, never fun. I don't care if their coach is fired. I don't care if Damari Alston's there. I don't care if Deuce Knight's playing. I don't care. Auburn's always tough for Alabama in Jordan-Hare. But regardless, all right, that's going to do it for this solo edition of Locked On Bama. Man, thank you guys so much for being patient with us. Jimmy and I, we don't live in the same place. We don't live in the same town, barely live in the same state. And so sometimes we just can't make things connect. So appreciate you guys so much with your patience. Man, we love you guys a ton. We really do. Jimmy and I talk about it all the time. You guys are the best. Truly appreciate you guys listening. And we will talk to you next time. Until then, roll tide, everybody.